After playing the grieving husband, Chris Watts confesses to killing his family and dumping their bodies at an oil and gas work site outside of Frederick, Colorado.
Buried in something or the horror out there, a freaking oil tank.
He literally just put his 3- and 4-year-old daughters in oil tanks and strangled his wife and buried her in a shallow grave.
Getting Bella and Celeste out of those tanks was much more of a challenge than anyone expected.
This man stood on his porch and begged for the return of his family. How could we have been so fooled? It does not seem like something a human being could do.
God have mercy on his soul for betraying with those kids and his wife.
This is my flesh and blood. This is like what I wanted all my life.
So after we look at their bodies, we're gonna have a lot more questions. You know, you certainly did what you did, but I think you took a lot of steps to make it better today. Sorry I left you last night, and sorry I left you today.
Chris Watts gave an initial confession to Tammy Lee and Agent Coder. He told them that he killed Shanann, but Shanann had murdered the girls.
Christopher Watts had not admitted that he had taken his children's life.
So what's gonna happen when their cause of death comes back to you, or the girl's not going to, okay? You sure? I'm 100% positive it's not gonna come back to me.
I would hate for Shanann to get a bad rap if she didn't have anything to do with it. You know, it's not fair.
I know.
So, do you want to tell us the truth?
That is the truth. It's not her.
Chris knew that even if he did kill his wife in a fit of rage, he's going to go to jail for it.
After a full day of interrogation and a failed polygraph test, and now a confession just before midnight, Chris is arrested.
Chris, just stand up for me. I'm gonna have you face that wall. Just lift up your hands.
This afternoon, my office filed formal charges against Christopher Lee Watts. 3 counts of murder in the first degree after deliberation. 1 count naming Shanann Watts, 1 count naming Bella, 1 count naming Celeste.
About 2 months after the disappearances, Chris makes a trade with the district attorney that he will admit guilt to all 3 murders so long as they do not pursue the death penalty with him.
Christopher was entering a guilty plea to having killed the children. He was going to get a life sentence.
There was no way that he was going to be able to fight this in court.
This case brought in so much attention that when it came to his sentencing, there was a line out the courtroom door of people wanting to see him sentenced.
There was a media frenzy. Everyone, everywhere, all the news channels around the world.
This was the case that people wanted a punishment for.
Chris was brought in shackled, wearing an orange jumpsuit, never made eye contact with anybody.
There's never an amount of justice for that kind of murder and that betrayal. I think death is even not good enough for him.
Please rise. 46th session, the Honorable Marcelo Cobb presiding.
Good morning, you're welcome to be seated. The questions that have screamed out to anyone who will listen since August 13th of 2018 are why and how? Why did this have to happen? How could a seemingly normal husband and father annihilate his entire family? For what? These are the questions that only one individual in this courtroom or on this planet knows the answers to.
Shanann, Bella, and Nico love and caring people. They love life. They love being around people who love them. I trusted you to take care of them, not kill them. You buried my daughter Shanann and Nico in a shallow grave, and then you put Bella and Celeste in huge containers of crude oil You heartless monster. This is hard to say, but may God have mercy on your soul. I hope you enjoy your new life. It's nothing like the one you had out here.
We loved you like a son. We trusted you. Your faithful wife trusted you. Your children adored you, and they also trusted you. Your daughter Bella Marie sang a song proudly. I don't know if you got to see it, but it was Daddy, You're My Hero. I have no idea who gave you the right to take their lives.
The entire time, Chris just hung his head and looked straight down.
These kids who looked up to you and expected you to be their daddy, that's the ultimate betrayal of trust.
The Watts family spoke, and of course they're devastated as much as the Ruseks are.
It was their intention to introduce themselves as grandparents who had suffered an extraordinary loss, and that they were in as much a shock as anyone, and maybe more so.
Our families have been irreparably broken by the needless deaths of Shanann, Bella, Cece, and Nico. This is something we will never get over. We will always mourn the loss of our family, and in that, we are united in our grief. Now to my son, Christopher. I have known you since the day you were born into this world. I have watched you grow from a quiet and sweet, curious child who Bella reminded me so much of, to a young man who worked hard in sports and later mechanics to achieve your goals. You are a good friend, brother, father, and son. We have loved you from the beginning, and we still love you now. Your father and sister and I are struggling to understand why, but we will remain faithful as your family. We love you, and we forgive you, son.
The room was not what I had experienced in a courtroom before. It was one of just sadness.
Two families who have been absolutely destroyed by the actions of this man.
Everyone was grieving in that room.
Good morning, Your Honor. Mr. Watts has asked us to share this morning that he is devastated by all of this. And although he understands that words are hollow at this point, he is sincerely sorry for all of this. Thank you.
I've been a judicial officer now for starting my 17th year, and I could objectively say that this is perhaps the most inhumane and vicious crime that I have handled out of the thousands of cases that I have seen.
Before a judge, Chris Watts pleads guilty to the murder of Bella, Shanann, and Celeste, and also an unlawful termination of a pregnancy, that being his first son, Nico.
Deputies, I would respectfully ask that you take this defendant into custody and have him serve the rest of his life in the Department of Corrections.
After Christopher Watts was sentenced, there was closure. There was a sense of relief and sadness and disbelief that it could happen in such a small town.
I don't know if anyone felt that justice had been served.
I don't have grace for him. That's one of the worst betrayals a human can do, is the betrayal of a father to a daughter. So no, I don't selfishly think that he got justice, but I'm grateful that I'm not the judge.
After Chris went to prison, we thought we would never hear from him again, but it was actually only just beginning.
Convicted killer Chris Watts tells all from his prison cell. The details are shocking.
He never officially confessed to killing his children, and it haunted the investigators.
His final confession is so horrific.
I woke up that morning, it was going to happen, and I had no control of it.
Shanann is clearly not to be blamed for this.
The man who he portrayed himself to be did not exist.